This Mark with U Casual again. We're going to pick up where we left off on the little tutorial or breakdown of how to spawn creatures in the world, Atavism world. The last video we used the in-game spawner. We got to the point where we were gonna spawn them, but I didn't do it then, and I'm gonna hold off now too, because this type of spawner pretty much is the exact same thing. Everything you do up to the point of making that, except you do it here in the editor this time instead of during in-game. This is a newer spawner system, and it kind of leaves you with the older spawn in the end. So once we do use it, it's gonna spawn the same. So it's just been repetitive if I would have showed it and then had to show it again. So we figured if you followed everything that I did previously, you should have got something to work, and if not, we'll see what happens here when we put this together. But with this, you basically make a new object. Just create an empty object, and you add a component. I already put spawn here. Type in spawn, and this spawn marker generator is what you want. And see, if you notice, this will have most of the same stuff that the in-game UI had. This is just a way to get it more likely to get it where you have an object that's a spawner. And one way this could be handy is once you make this spawner, you can use like Gina or Gaia or something like that and use the spawner in it to spawn across the world. So that's one advantage of this. But in the end, you pretty much still have the exact same spawner when it's said and done, or pretty much the same spawner, except you have this stuff on it. Alright, so let's call this wolf spawn. Change this to wolf spawner. Alright, reselect it. I'm just going to go, and it's the exact same thing. Your mob, you're going to pick the wolf. Some of the same kind of stuff we had before for timing. Yeah, if you watch the other video, you see you set your time, and if it doesn't spawn these during this time, then it'll spawn these other ones. Roam radius, we'll make it, say, 30. Start for quest, if you had quest NPC type things, dialogue, merchant table, offer bank, same kind of stuff as before. Spawn radius, we'll say 30 again. Spawn height, you'll notice it shows a visual, so you can see how what kind of area it's going to cover. Height don't really matter. We don't want 10 wolves. Alright, let's just do 2 for 2. Spawn distance 10. We'll make it 5. That's alright, we'll make it 5. Okay, so here we have this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to, instead of using this right here right now, I'm going to reset the location. Or why do I always pick the wrong one on that? Should be right here. Nope. We're going to reset that to 0. And I'm going to go to my stuff, basically. I should have a bunch of this cleared so it wouldn't be so much of a mess. Resources. Here's my stuff. Mobs. Spawners. We got a rabbit spawner. And we move this wolf spawner into there. Alright. So we're just going to delete this wolf spawner for now. And then move this one where we want it. Because now this is should work. Alright. So there's a spawner that could be, now that could be used as a, like I said before, in other systems to spawn this spawner area. But this alone, once you have it, you have to, say you had a bunch of these spawners all across the world, then you have to generate these to make them actually go. See, here's an individual one, but if you go to Atavism, this in editor whatever, see, now we got mob spawners. So you got the different options to do not just individual ones, but when you do these, it'll do a whole bunch. So if you did have some other kind of program place a bunch of these spawns in your world, spawners, then you could come and actually generate them all at once. And that would make all of them generate, like we're going to generate this one right now. Alright, see, so it says we generated 2 spawns. I say OK, it put down 2 wolf spawns within this area, and following that within 5 or 10 minimum distance between each other. See, so now we have 2 individual spawns. These are similar now. These individual spawns would be similar to what the other in-game spawner does now, though. So, well, let's get on the wrong thing. We're on the wrong thing. We want the wolves. Say we pick one of these wolves, pick this one. Alright. So now we got this spawner wolf, and he has all the same information, so we could change him individually if we wanted compared to the other one. But you'll notice that he has a -1 right here. These are basically things, we'll cover it when we do other kind of objects and stuff in the game. But when they have a -1, that pretty much means that that's a default, or that means they're not set yet. So again, we'd go back to this editor that's actually in the editor if we say it. So we want to save these, and it's going to be 100. So now see, both of these wolves right now say -1. They'll never spawn because that's just the number that it has saying it's not set, basically. So when we save this, well, actually we could save this scene first, just because, but this will be saving it with the negative numbers, but it's these new locations are going to get saved. So that spawner is set, but that's not an actual spawn. So now let's save them. See, now the ID came in this one. And the other one should have an ID on it too now. 244 and 245. Now these spawners themselves, the spawner itself is not the spawn. If we were to load the game right now, it would show these guys the spawner will be there, but they're really just a marker to show where the spawner would be. So at the end of the day, you're gonna, once this spawns, you'll turn this off. You'll turn this off because these will just be, well, maybe I'll just run it and we'll see how it works. So let's just, here, I'm gonna real quick just try to do it. Let's save again, because these numbers have changed. And I believe we have to restart the server in the world too. I mean, here in this one. So we'd have to restart server. Now, this is only going to work if you have a hosted, either hosted server like on the that they offer that you can buy, like a paid hosting server, or you set up your own server on a different computer or whatever. If you're using the Windows one that comes with Atavism, you can use a standard or like a Windows right on the same computer that you're playing. This won't reset your server then. You'll have to use that Windows software thing to do your restarts and stuff. These dots will be here, but they won't do nothing. Even if you try, it's not really connecting to that. It's a different way of hosting your server. But just have to note that you either have to restart this way or restart the different way with your setup. And that's going to take time to reset anyway. So I'll pause this and we'll come back and see how it works. Okay, we're back again. I've got my toggle active so the creatures aren't attacking me. Now, you'll notice there's 2 wolves just standing here not doing nothing. Those are the actual spawner, not the spawn. Let's get where we can see this over here. And there's rabbit, rabbit, wolf, wolf. Why am I lost here? Wolf spawner, duh. Okay, so these 2 wolves are the spawner that we set up before when we were standing there saying these were the 2 wolves where the wolves are going to spawn. That wolf and that rabbit is what I already had before I started with wolves. These 2 wolves are the actual spawned wolves. So once you've got the spawn and spawned them, you can clear the wolf spawner. So they're not here no more. Now you just have the spawned wolves. Now if I go to this game, in game 1 like we were before, do the mob spawners and turn everything on, now we see them all. See, so we got my 2 wolf spawns and 2 rabbit spawners. So basically we wound up in the end with the same type of spawn here as we did with the in-game spawner. The only thing is we were able to do it in the editor, and these spawns will have this information on them and not just this one. So we actually have spawners that we can look at now. See, here's the old way of the rabbit spawners. Or I think I did them with circles too, but or whatever. But that's the end of the day. We got this. And now see, we have actual active wolves to move around. See, in our animations, we got their animations right when we changed the animation thing. But we're just not. I mean, let's toggle this on. See if we can get one to attack me. And here he comes. See, he's biting this time. He's got a delay because he can only hit so often, but see, his animation is actually a bite, which could be brought, I mean, further done to make it better, having multiple attacks and everything, but that's pretty much where we are, and I think that's finishes up our little series here. that gets the wolves in here. They're animating the spawners. You see the spawners working. I hope that provides it enough to at least get people a good idea of how to get started on getting their mobs into their world. Alright. I hope this was helpful for people. Thanks for watching.